Hey guys, Millie here. Today I want to share a story that's close to my heart. It's about a remarkable girl named Amina and her life in the vibrant city of Kigali. You know how much I love a good story. Stories have a way of connecting us, of bringing us together. And this one is no different. So gather round and let me take you on a journey to a place filled with warmth, color, and life. Today we're traveling to Kigali, the heart of Rwanda. It's a city that pulses with energy and vibrancy, a place where every corner tells a story. And at the center of this story is Amina, a young girl with a heart as big as her dreams. Amina lived in Kigali, a city known for its rolling hills and stunning landscapes. But more than its beauty, Kigali is known for its people, resilient, joyful, and full of life. Amina was no exception. She embodied the spirit of Kigali in every way. The city is a bustling hub of activity, with markets that burst with color and life. Imagine walking through the streets surrounded by the rich aroma of spices, the vibrant hues of fabrics, and the lively chatter of vendors. This was Amina's playground. I've always wanted to go. Amina loved her city. She loved its markets, its music, and the way the streets seemed to dance with life. The sounds of Kigali were like a symphony to her, each note a reminder of the city's heartbeat. But what Amina loved most of all were the people, the smiles, the laughter, the sense of community. It was the people who made Kigali truly special. They were her friends, her family, her world. Amina spent her days playing with her friends. They would gather in the streets, their laughter echoing through the air. They played games, shared stories, and dreamed of the future. They would chase after each other in the streets, their feet pounding against the pavement, their hearts racing with joy. Every day was an adventure, a new story waiting to be told. They told stories and laughed. Life was good. The bond they shared was unbreakable, forged in the fires of friendship and the simple joys of childhood. But one day everything changed. A storm rolled in, dark and foreboding. The skies that were once so bright and clear turned grey and ominous. The winds howled and the rain poured down in torrents. It was as if the very heart of Kigali was weeping. The storm brought with it a sense of uncertainty and fear. Families huddled together, seeking shelter from the relentless rain. Amina and her friends watched from their windows, their hearts heavy with worry. The city that once felt so safe and familiar now seemed strange and frightening. But even in the darkest of times, the spirit of Kigali shone through. The community came together, helping one another, rebuilding what was lost. Amina saw the strength and resilience of her people, and it filled her with hope. She knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they would overcome them together. Slowly but surely, life returned to normal. The laughter came back, the streets filled with the sounds of children playing once more. Amina and her friends resumed their games, their stories, their dreams. The storm had passed, but the lessons it left behind would stay with them forever. And so the story of Amina and Kigali continues. A story of love, resilience, and the unbreakable bonds of community. It's a reminder that no matter how dark the storm, there is always light on the other side. And that light is what makes Kigali and Amina's story truly extraordinary. The sun, usually a friend, became Kigali's enemy. The once gentle rays that nurtured the land now scorched it relentlessly. Day after day, the sun beat down with an unforgiving intensity, turning the vibrant city into a parched wasteland. It grew hotter and hotter. The heat waves became more frequent, and the air shimmered with the oppressive heat. The people of Kigali, who were used to the warmth, found themselves struggling to cope with the extreme temperatures. The once lush green hills turned brown and dry. The vegetation that once thrived on these hillsides withered away, leaving behind a barren landscape. The beauty of Kigali's natural surroundings was fading, replaced by a harsh, unforgiving environment. The rivers, Kigali's lifeline, began to slow to a trickle. These rivers, which had once flowed with abundance, providing water for drinking, farming, and daily life, were now mere shadows of their former selves. The water levels dropped alarmingly, and the riverbeds cracked under the relentless sun. A terrible drought had come. People were scared. Water became scarce. The fear of running out of water loomed large over the city. Residents began to ration their usage, and the once simple act of getting a drink of water became a daily struggle. The crops withered and died. Fields that once produced bountiful harvests now lay barren. Farmers watched helplessly as their livelihoods dried up before their eyes. The food supply dwindled, and the prices of basic necessities soared. Families struggled to get enough to drink. Long lines formed at the few remaining water sources, and tempers flared as the desperation grew. Parents worried about their children's health, and the elderly suffered the most in the sweltering heat. The laughter in the streets faded. The once bustling markets and lively neighborhoods grew quiet. The joy and vibrancy that characterized Kigali were replaced by a somber mood. People walked with heavy hearts, their faces etched with worry and fatigue. Amina's heart ached seeing her city like this. She remembered the days when Kigali was full of life and energy. Now she saw the pain and suffering in the eyes of her fellow citizens. Amina knew that something had to be done, but she felt powerless in the face of such a monumental crisis. Kigali, once so full of life, was losing its spirit. The city that had been a beacon of hope and progress was now struggling to survive. The drought had taken a toll on everyone, and the future seemed uncertain. But even in the darkest times, there was a glimmer of hope. The people of Kigali were resilient, and they knew that together, they could find a way to overcome this challenge. One day, Amina sat with her grandmother on their porch, enjoying the gentle breeze and the warmth of the sun. They often spent their afternoons together, sharing stories and wisdom passed down through generations. On this particular day, they listened to the radio, a cherished routine that connected them to the world beyond their home. The radio crackled to life, bringing news from far and wide. The news was grim. The drought was the worst in memory, leaving the land parched and the people anxious. Crops were failing and water sources were drying up. The community was in despair, unsure of how they would survive. But then, amidst the bleak reports, Amina heard something that sparked her curiosity. A scientist was being interviewed, and his words caught her attention. The scientist spoke passionately about innovative ways to combat the drought, including the idea of collecting rainwater. He explained how even small efforts could make a significant difference in conserving water and sustaining crops. A little seed of hope blossomed in Amina's heart. She felt a surge of inspiration and determination. If they could collect rainwater, they might be able to alleviate some of the suffering caused by the drought. Amina knew Kigali needed water. The city, vibrant and bustling, was struggling under the weight of the drought. She could see the impact on her neighbors and friends, and she wanted to help. She remembered the big metal tanks her grandmother used. These tanks had been a lifeline for their family, collecting rainwater that sustained their crops and provided drinking water during dry spells. They collected rainwater for their crops, a simple yet effective method that had been passed down through generations. Amina realized that this age-old practice could be the key to helping her community. "We can do that for the whole city," she thought, her mind racing with possibilities. If they could implement a rainwater collection system on a larger scale, they could provide much-needed relief to the people of Kigali. Amina knew what she had to do. With a newfound sense of purpose, she began to formulate a plan. She would rally her community, gather resources, and work together to create a sustainable solution. Amina's plan was just beginning, but she was determined to see it through, for the sake of her city and the future of her people. Amina, full of excitement, ran to the elders. She shared her idea. Everyone could collect rainwater. But the elders were hesitant. They shook their heads. "This is how we've always done things," they said. "It won't be enough." Amina was disappointed, but Amina refused to give up. She knew her idea could work. She just needed to convince them. So Amina, with her big heart and even bigger determination, set out to prove them wrong. Section 5. The Power of One. Amina's Determination. Amina started small. She gathered her friends. They went house to house, talking to their neighbors. Amina explained how to collect rainwater. She showed them how to build simple systems with buckets and barrels. Some people laughed, others didn't believe her. But Amina didn't let that stop her. She knew every drop counted. Slowly but surely, people started to listen. They saw Amina's dedication. They felt her hope. Section 6. A city rallies, spreading the message. Word of Amina's mission spread. Soon, shopkeepers, teachers, and even the mayor heard about it. They were inspired by her spirit. The message was clear. Kigali needed to work together. The city started to change. People set up collection points on rooftops, balconies, and even in the streets. The sound of hammering and sawing filled the air. Kigali was coming together. Section 7. The tide turns, Kigali saves water. Day by day, the collection points grew. Every drop of rain was precious, a gift. The people of Kigali learned to conserve water. They used it wisely, wasting nothing. Amina's heart swelled with pride. The once dry buckets and barrels began to fill. The sound of water, music to their ears, returned to Kigali. The spirit of the city was coming back. Section 8. Celebrations and lessons. A hero's welcome. The rains finally returned to Kigali. Thanks to their efforts, the city had enough water. The people rejoiced. They danced in the streets, celebrating their triumph over the drought. Amina, the brave young lady who dared to dream, was hailed as a hero. Amina's story taught everyone a powerful lesson. Even in the face of fear, even when facing impossible odds, one person can make a difference. Section 9. Amina's legacy, the future of Kigali. Life in Kigali blossomed once more. The hills turned green again, the rivers flowed, the laughter of children returned. Amina's courage and quick thinking had saved her city. But more importantly, Amina had shown everyone the power of hope, unity, and action. And that, my friends, is what makes Amina's story so amazing. Thanks for listening.